Welcome to the Let's Be Real podcast, where we are regarded to as the starting five. We are powered by the Binge Podcast Network, and we are sponsored by Overtime Heroics Memphis. Let's be real about white privilege.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Look at you took ready.
Okay.
Nah,
I didn't know that was the episode title. Like I've been clueless.
You look like the student that did their homework and just wait for the teacher. Like, yeah, go pass right. Like I did my homework today.
Exactly.
Ready.
Exactly. I mean, it's a lot that can be said about that. We're gonna be friendly, of course, but it's definitely a lot that can be, especially in the world of sports.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
To be friendly.
All right.
Oh yeah, we're friendly for sure, but we're gonna let it be known too, because what's the podcast called?
Let's be real.
Then we're gonna be real. Boom.
Well, we have a special guest today, a fellow Titan fan, Mr. Josh Midgett. How you doing, my guy?
Feeling good, man. Glad to be on. Honored that y'all allowed me to grace y'all with my presence, so it's much appreciated.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
You from Memphis, Josh?
Not from Memphis, but I spent most of my life in Memphis since like the fourth grade. So basically from Memphis. Yeah.
I saw on your Facebook that you were from Columbus, Mississippi. I mean Columbus,
Georgia. Yeah.
I was born in Columbus, Georgia.
Really? What?
Yep.
Wow.
Y'all might be cousins.
Yeah, hey.
Columbus, Georgia sound that big.
I'd say we the only two people from there. So
I was literally born there. I didn't live there any time. Straight up.
The moment Shorty came up to him, time to go.
we got out the hospital. Yeah.
Y'all on it today, man. Josh, we of course did a couple things about you, the co-host of the Talk Back Live podcast and the Liberation Sports. Can you talk a little bit about both of those?
Yeah, man. So Talk Back Live with Bob and Josh, which, I know some of y'all may see us live sometimes on Facebook and everything, but started on the radio. And it's crazy journey with Talk Back Live. I know I can't get too much into all that, but I started when I was 18, co-host, and the show was me and my dad, actually. It was started on KWAM on the weekend. Some terrible time slot, where there wasn't a lot of folks listening. But it was good because I wasn't that good at talking to nobody at that time. But my dad was a radio professional for a long time and got me into it. And before we know it, we got better and better guests. We moved on to 7:30 at the time, and this is something a lot of people may not know, but we were at the same station with Chris Vernon when he was there. And it was just us and him in the building and the owner. We came on right after him for about a year. And then he left suddenly. And the crazy thing about that, we found out him leaving on the radio. And we're like, okay, are we going to be able to get in the building? He got the key? Like, what's going on? So, so literally didn't tell us. And we went down there and talked to him during his show. And he told us all about it. And literally, the crazy thing about it, this was, y'all know how long ago that was when he left 7:30. It was a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And we were the only show on the station. And it was like, okay, so what's going to happen? So we get the 3 to 5 spot that Chris Vernon held down for a long time. And we helped kind of bring the station back. We helped them bring new shows on. Me and my dad had emphasis on bringing Black people on because especially at that time, no black voices whatsoever.
Wait, what year is this?
This was probably 2013.
Okay. So it's about 7 years ago.
2014. Yeah, so that's when that was going on, and it was under the radar for a long time. We had several black shows. We talked to all the coaches and players. Shit, talked to Justin Fuente, Josh Pashner. I mean, anybody you could think of, really.
You dropping some names here, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had Penny Hardaway at one time. That was, before all the stuff he's doing. Talk with Desmond Merriweather a few times before he passed. I mean, you could just think of so many of the Lawsons before they came to Memphis.
What's been your favorite?
Favorite interview? Man. Jeez. It's so many. I'm probably gonna pick the wrong one off the top of my mind, but I know when the Tigers won their first AAC championship under Fuente. If you remember that year, they went to the Miami Beach Bowl. Yeah, it was right before. The fight with BYU, the infamous game. But before that, talking to Fuente right after they won, and all that emotion that was going on with that. And it's probably some others that are way better than that, though. But I just remember that off the top of my head. But we held it down for a while, 7:30, really, until last year. And decided to do the online thing, podcasting, Facebook Live. Got our own studio set up with this microphone that I'm flexing with. It's not plugged in at the moment. Right here in our studio. And now we're doing this thing. As a matter of fact, I started Deliberation with myself and Justice Bold and Evan DeVoe, Leon Taylor. All of us started that last year. And we've had guests like Keith Easterwood, who passed this past year. Some other guys, Trey Draper, some college coaches, stuff like that. So I've been fortunate, man. It's crazy to say, 28, but I've been on the radio and in media for 10 years. And, it's just one of those things. I feel like we've always been under the radar because we hadn't been, and one thing you want to talk about white privilege, I feel like in the media, and even with you guys, man, I feel like y'all should get more shine than you should because being black media and the quality content that you put out there, just like us, and I know so many other people in black media that don't get the shine they deserve. And the mainstream, especially in sports in Memphis, they will not acknowledge you at all, despite all the work that you've been doing, grinding. And I mean, man, I was at FedEx Forum covering the Clippers and Grizzly series, the one where they were doing the whoop that trick and all that stuff. I'm right there next to all those guys. I'm in the media area seeing Zach with his hand on his, Blake's neck on the ground, all that stuff.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man. But I'm thankful, and now everything come full circle. I'm on Let's Be Real.
There you go.
And we definitely appreciate you having, especially knowing like your background, and of course we're gonna continue to know you. But it's just dope, that you're on here. So we definitely got a few questions that we can, ask you before we start the topics. What made you want to be a part of the sports world?
Sports fanatic. Growing up, I mean, watching Sports Center every day, multiple times, even the replays, they replay the same stuff over and over back when, Stuart Scott. I think, anybody that's black and loves sports, he's a huge influence on your life growing up.
Absolutely.
Seeing him be black and be cool and like the other side of the pillar, you know what I'm saying? And that's when I actually flipped the pillow. I'm like, man, it really is. I ain't even noticed it. He told me, but you know what I'm saying? It's stuff like that. Fell in love with the NBA, NFL, all-time favorite players as far as that goes. That really got me into it. Steve McNair, obviously. That is the GOAT to me still. Just heart and soul, yes, sir. And Allen Iverson, ironically, with the 76ers. I just like guys that are gritty, tough, hard-nosed. against beat all odds type of deal. And I feel like McNair and Allen Iverson exhibit that more than most. Even though you can name better players, but you can't name more heart and soul. That's stuff that can be made.
Yeah, absolutely. How were you able to come up with sports content during COVID-19 times?
Shoo. It was tough. And the cool thing about like now, because we're on I'm glad we weren't on the radio at the time, because it's tough enough. Like, we're on 5 days a week for most of those years. And even when there's sports content going on, it's tough to come up with something every day to talk about that's not repetitive, let alone a situation like that. But you're a content creator like us, you kind of work on your own schedule. If there's nothing to talk about, then hey, just won't do nothing that day. But when you do want to give the people something, you just try to find the hot topic, man. Try to get you a good interview if you can. Usually interviews can help carry you over. Find some interesting topics in past or present or whatever the case is. Even like, I watch a lot of Undisputed and First Take, and I know they rehash the stuff. So I'm like, maybe I can steal one of these and go forward with it. So it is what it is. That's kind of been some of it. And really, with Talk Back Live, we focus on news as well. Just news going on in the world. If there's a hot topic, with Trump, unfortunately, there's always something stupid he's gonna say, and for us to get pissed off about, and get people to respond to that, or COVID-19, how serious should we take it, all that stuff. So it's always something. We try to keep the versatility where if there's not something sports related, we're gonna definitely have something interesting, whether it's favorite TV shows, music, artists, something to keep the people invested.
Steve McNair, is he the reason you're a Titans fan?
Yes, 100,000. Yes, sir. I always remember that right there. Him, Eddie George.
Yes, sir.
The goats.
Ohio State again.
Why you at that?
Come on, man.
See, we like to ignore that side. But man, like that's definitely my influence. That Super Bowl, I'll never forget. I feel like I can remember almost every play of that game.
You okay, Shocky?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm tearing up too, man, right now. You can't see behind these big old glasses I got on.
Definitely one thing me and Sharky talked about was Ryan Tannehill. He was with the Dolphins and wasn't too successful, but came over and I think could be the leader for you all in the future. Like, can you talk about the future for the Titans in your eyes that you see?
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody saw that coming. But I think that, like,
hey.
He's slick, dude. Give him a look. He's right about 10. I know you can take everything else though.
Oh, man. But
no, just his consistency, man, is something that kind of puts y'all over the top. Like, he was just consistent on a bad team and with the Dolphins. And you put him with a team with the Titans, defense always top 5. Like, I hate going against y'all defense. You got the running back GOAT that's about to come out, in some people's eyes. So what you think, like, the future?
Well, see, to me, I think we need to quit playing with Henry. Get the man. I know we got him for this year, with what they did, but they need to go on and commit to him because I think he's the anchor. Despite, and I'm not going to, saying to knock Tannehill because some people think he's still garbage and it's just Henry. I'm just saying, but I think Tannehill is a good quarterback. I think he came in a great situation for his skill set to shine. Better coaching, better teammates around him. Miami has been terrible with all of those things.
Absolutely.
Including the injury. So one thing, comparing him to Mariota, and I think that's why we took off. Mariota was and I think he's immensely talented, but I think his confidence was done.
Confidence. You better know your team.
Confidence killed, man. And you saw it despite he had the great Cleveland game, but he's done, man. The offensive line, he kept getting killed. He was scared to throw the ball. Tannehill came in whipping that thing right off the bat. And, that's what happened. But as far as the future goes, also we got John Robinson and, Coach Vrabel, who I believe in more now. I think we got a culture that we just need to keep building.
Yeah. Well, give me an early prediction if there is a season next season.
For the NFL?
Yeah.
Hey, Super Bowl. Hey, we one game away. We were one game away. I know y'all think I see LeBron over there leaning back. I don't know what's I'm gonna tell you something. Look, folks, if we would have said last year we're going to the AFC Championship game, y'all will be laughing just like y'all doing right now.
That's right.
And we did. How we beat down, Lamar Jackson. I love Lamar Jackson. But I love seeing them get beat down by our defense.
The defense, man.
Hey,
that
defense. They made some adjustment to that defense now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We're losing Logan Ryan.
Yeah. I
hope we get Clowney while he's playing around, not accepting nobody's offer for months. I don't know what he's doing, but I think if we do end up getting him a game breaker we haven't had since Kyle Van Der Bosch, Javon Curse.
I was like Javon Curse.
Yeah, Curse was a real one. Yeah. Van Der Bosch looked like he might be part of that white privilege that we talk about. I don't know. If he but anyway, I'm move past that. But all that being said, man, I think realistically we can make it to the AFC Championship game again, at least, if we continue to do what we do. Don't go away from Henry. Make A.J. Brown a priority because I think he's going to be a superstar receiver that we've been looking for forever.
Got potential. You got potential.
Ever. But Brown did last year. Derek Mason ain't big. Nah.
Like Derek Mason was solid, Shark.
Yeah. I'm saying, what AJ Brown did last year? Nah, Derek Mason. That was his rookie year. Be mad.
Yeah.
I love Derek Mason. Now he can return some kicks.
That was good.
Yeah.
He still want no superstar receiver.
No, not even close.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what we're talking about. AJ Brown still. Okay.
Are you a Grizz fan or what? I know you covered the Grizz, but a Grizz fan for sure. Die hard or?
Yeah, I'd say so. I don't know why I hesitated, but yeah.
I mean, it's okay to take breaks.
Yeah. I definitely did like the past couple of years for this year.
Who was your team before then? Your break team. I had the reason I asked because I grew up a Grizz fan, and I took a break with the Warriors.
3 breaks.
but I never really claimed the team, so I still right, but I never could besides the Warriors, because I have my thoughts about the Grizzlies. But you say you had a break team. It's just fun to ask, who's your break team?
I'm trying to say break team. I mean, I love the Celtics.
God. I beg your pardon? Who'd you say?
To a Lakers fan. Oh
yeah, Celtics all day. Look, I'm never picking the team everybody loves. I'm never picking a team with LeBron on it. And I'm never picking a team with KD on it because I'm just not a KD guy.
I feel it's too good.
Yeah,
any team with KD on it's too good. It's all good.
Especially the Warriors, man. I couldn't get down with that.
Cheat code.
That was cheat code, and they are annoying. All of them were annoying. Bunch of, what I'm saying, crybaby, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But one more question that I have. What's been your most outlandish take that you've had on your show that's kind of got people riled up?
Oh man, that was racism in sports media in Memphis, and in some of the teams, including the Tigers. I mean, man, we literally, and this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I know my dad literally called out. I think he was a football SID at the time because he was, tripping about certain things he would give to other shows and not us, not return calls, not do nothing. So literally had an argument on Twitter back and forth and called him out about, hey, this dude right here at him is a racist, stuff like that. And that got everybody like, whoa, what's going on? And he's like, hey, man, hit me in my DM. Don't do this out in public. I'm like, man, we've been trying to do it in private for a while. So then we ended up getting what we wanted when it come to passes and stuff like that. But calling out certain media members in the past as well. Got a lot of blowback. People ain't comfortable when you call out, their actions publicly. You know what I'm saying? So that got a lot of blowback. But I think in this culture and climate we're at right now, what a lot of people are doing that, it's I don't know if you can say more accepted or it's more the norm. I don't know. But I do like where we're at right now when it comes to racism. Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Shark, that's all I got, man.
Hey, you ready to talk some sports?
Let's get it.
Sure. The topics for today. So L of the week. I guess at the same time, let's go on and talk a little bit about L of the week. We're not gonna dive into exactly what these folks did this past week. We're just gonna choose one, and I already think I know who the winner is going to be. We don't do L of the week, but we're gonna do L of the week because it was 3 people on here.
So many L's.
Third to be in the L of the month discussion, and I believe whoever was gonna win between these 3 will probably be the front runner to win L of the month, more than likely. But Drew Brees, we ain't got yeah. Y'all know. Grant Napear. For those who don't know, Grant Napear is he was a former play-by-play announcer for the Kings. DeMarcus Cousins set him up for the kill, and shout out to
he threw up the alley.
Don't be on the week for real.
He set him up.
Right. And Mike Norvell, who he actually made up for his stuff somewhat, but I still put him in this discussion. Which one gets the L of the week?
What you mean made up?
Well, the team, he had the team meeting the team. Now the team, as of now, the team players are fine.
Supporting them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought the thing was like he lied.
Mike Norvell put out this statement basically saying he reached out and had a one-on-one meeting with all the black players discussing racism.
But some of the players said that he didn't.
First of all, with that, I think got a lot of black players. How you have a one-on-one with every single black player on Florida State? Norvell, you cool, but come on, man. Like,
Nah.
I ain't gonna lie. That's probably my vote because it sounded like it was straight from the Trump handbook. Like we had a meeting with all the black players. We good. Carry on. Nah, bro, you just made yourself look like an idiot.
Yeah, and got called out.
And got caught. And now you probably won't. By the way, this everything's looking, you may not coach next week.
I don't know though.
I mean, that may be a little too far, but there is a chance, especially with everything that's going on now. Like Drew Brees, I'm worried for Drew Brees because a lot of their players are circling like the calendar dates, and it's like they may really put a hit on him. Like Philly may really put a hit. Like he already owed.
We need that.
There he already owed.
He already I'm worried for Drew Brees' career at this point.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, he got one more year
So, but if I had a vote, like, is either Drew Brees or Fuente? Fuente really just had a few of this.
Fuente, Norvell.
I mean, not Fuente, Norvell. That's on me. Especially going to a new team. Like, nah, man.
I think Drew Brees, like what he said was stupid. I mean, we all know that. I think Drew Brees, I think he meant well, but you still didn't mean well. Like it still was some level of white privilege that came with your. Well, I'll say white privilege and just straight up white insensitivity to history. Like he talked about how his grandfathers like fought in the world wars or whatever. I'm like, let's keep going back a little bit more in history to the systemic, issues that have plagued the black community. And he just completely disregarded that, which is why Kaepernick was kneeling in the first place. Like it wasn't about dishonoring America. The fact that he was kneeling was honoring America. So I'm not sure what he meant by that. But I do think I think Drew Brees has a sincere heart. I think he's just ignorant to what he was trying to convey, I guess. So I don't doubt that he will find a way to do better and actually take action in especially in New Orleans, a black city like that. Norvell. Norvell lucky this ain't happening in Memphis. That's what I'll say. He's lucky this ain't happening in Memphis because he'd have been a problem. You know what I'm saying? But I actually think Napear is the L of the week for me.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Anybody that says all lives matter, that's an automatic L for me. Like I can't. I don't even have to explain why all lives matter is stupid in the midst of black people getting killed by police officers. I ain't finna get into all that. We know about that, but I think it's Grant Napear.
That's a good one.
That's my pick. That's not pick because I mean he's the one who actually lost his job.
Yeah,
we predicted Mike Norvell and Brees might lose their job. He actually lost his job. Now they quote unquote said he resigned, but that's
white privilege. He resigned.
That's
white privilege.
He got fired.
He got fired.
He got fired.
He got fired.
Definitely got fired. I bet DeMarcus Cousins was like, "Hey, bro, I bet you I can get somebody fired real quick."
right.
That showed the way he set him up, man.
Watch this.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
For me, my pick for L of the week is obvious. It's Drew Brees. To Savage's point, I don't actually think he meant well. I think all the stuff that he's done with the kneeling and things of that nature was just a complete front, and it was the trending thing to do at the time. And I think what he did this past week basically showed his true colors. And now he's seeing the error of his ways, and now is trying to backtrack for it. Let's not forget, like, him and his wife were sitting faithfully in the press box next to Trump and his wife during the national championship.
Let it be known, Trev. Let it be known.
So, I mean, of course, Grant will basically be my 1B because anytime you say all lives matter is just a complete other thing. But I think with Drew Brees being the situation that he's in, being in that black town of New Orleans, and just doing everything that he's done, and then trying to backtrack it, because even he went, I think it was the next day after he got the backlash, and posted the Instagram photo of the white hand and the black hand shaking hands, which he actually bought off a website for $30, and then posted it.
At least he gave $13 to the cause.
I was just about to say at least $12. $12.
But in the end, I just feel that Drew Brees showed his true colors there. And I mean, we already know what the great Maya Angelou used to say: if someone shows you who they are, believe them. So, eye of the week, it will definitely go to Drew Brees.
I totally agree with Trevor. Drew Brees, I typically, when I choose the L of the week or the L of the month, I typically like to go off what happened after the fact they did or said what they did. But I just think the timing in which he did all of this, and then for him to say what he said, I think the biggest thing that people have yet to try to realize or talk about is why Colin Kaepernick started the kneeling. Like, really go back and see, like, who told him to start kneeling from the get-go.
Exactly.
I think that's one thing that people fail to realize. I think he started to do that based off of, I think, a better, if I'm not mistaken, because he was sitting. Then he started kneeling based on what somebody told him to do. So again, it's not to disrespect the flag whatsoever. It's just he wants to bring light to what's going on in America and also in the black community. So I just think because he said what he said in the timing in which he said it, I just don't agree with him. And then what he did after the fact to try to come back and try to beautify it or whatever I'm trying to say. I just think that it was. I'm done with Drew. I'm done with Brees. I'm over him. Like, it's what I said last week. White people they're for black people. They're only for black people to if it benefits. They're only for black people for them or when it benefits them. But when it's all said and done, they all want to stand behind the curtain and say all lives matter, whatever the case may be. So Drew Brees for me. Yeah, Aston.
I'm gonna say Drew Brees. Just honestly, just because I feel like he just did it to fit in when Kaepernick did what he did. So as everybody say, he just went with the trend. I'm not even gonna say he went with the trend. It was just not to receive backlash. It was just the thing to do. That was what was hot in the locker room for him at the time. So my teammates gonna do it. I'm gonna get lashed out if I'm the only one standing up and not doing it. So for me, it's just Drew Brees, honestly. And his reasoning behind, us kneeling and disrespecting his grandfathers was just made no sense. And half the time when it comes to defending that flag, they make no sense. I'm sorry, like I said in the group the other day, I haven't cared for the national anthem nor the flag for quite some time. And I mean, before basketball games, you think I'm thinking of every word or trying to mean this state, let's do this America. Like, I'm not. I'm thinking about, okay, I'm finna give number 32 some buckets. Like I'm not even studying that. Like, let's be real, bro.
Yeah.
So, to say I care for that and that I'm disrespecting the flag just because I'm not thinking about that, or I'm thinking about what's going on actually in the world. Honestly, Drew Brees takes the L because it had nothing to do. It never had anything to do, and that'd be that first defense that we don't love this country, that we're just supposed to be so grateful for when we're so far behind the curve. And nah, I mean, Mike Norvell and Grant did some messed up things too, but Brees is, when you playing with people, you in the city of New Orleans, it's like, you should understand this. Like, this city has come back from the shambles after Katrina. You seen the city come back and come together, and it's majority black and it's cool and all, but like, you're around black people 24/7. You should see what goes on with them, and yet you decide not to pay any attention, and y'all camera darkening for whatever reason is fading in and out, so you may want to wipe it. Skylar and Shark and them. But yeah, if y'all heard me on the camera darkening out or whatever.
Yeah. It was my turn. I think it's crazy when I look at. Of course, all of them are terrible.
It's going.
All of them are terrible to me. But when I look at Drew Brees in particular, I'm like, the audacity to do that, man, in this moment and what's going on right now in America, to think that, to be so self-righteous of the fact that, I'm so pissed these folks disrespecting the flag and what it stands for. It makes you wonder, are you willfully being ignorant to what's happening right now? And, because one thing about it, he's not stupid. Drew Brees is the guy that's always looked out for his PR and how he looks to the public and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, that question about, if kneeling comes back or whatever, seemed to hit a nerve to the point that he told his truth about what he really believes about what's going on here. And I don't like it, man. I mean, he takes the L from me. I don't think it could be stated any better than everybody else already said, but to make it about the flag when it clearly is not, shows that you're willfully ignoring the problem. And because of the backlash that he got from his teammates, and because I think he believes it's going to cost him not only his reputation, but potentially a Super Bowl that he wants to go to, because he broke a record with Michael Thomas last year, and you don't want to piss him off. So, you talk about, hey, let me put out this, I'm sorry, I forgot I got all these black folks that got to catch the ball I'm throwing, so let me do this. And they sure can't run fast, so I don't want to mess that up either. But, it's crazy, but I don't want to act like people can't apologize and can't come to a realization of something, because that is a real thing. But in this situation, from here, 0 to 100 in 2 days, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So that's a L for me. Even though I think with Florida State and Norvell, he's such a good salesman. I think those kids got to be careful.
Right.
Not fall for the okie doke, because he done got that guy from calling him a liar and full of S to, oh, he's cool with me. What? What happened?
Pay him about $1,000,
Yeah, that too. So I don't know, man. But it's Drew Brees for me, no doubt.
Yeah, of the three for me, I also would say Drew Brees. Drew Brees, of those three, outside of like Memphis and Florida State and a few teams in the conference, not too many people know about Mike Norvell. Not too many people know about the Kings play-by-play announcer. Yeah. But if you put Drew Brees out there, people know Drew Brees. Yeah. So for him to say that to me was a slap in the face. I don't care how he reconciled afterwards. Now another thing, I know Sharky's about to tell me to stop talking. But another thing, two people that I wish were also on the list as well, could be like a D or other as we poll. Okay. One is definitely going to be POTUS, the President of the United States.
Oh, he's always on there.
That's an L in general.
Well, okay.
Decade, we wouldn't be 100 of us.
So we're clear about that one. That's like a 1A for me because I just don't like. You allow us to paint up to the White House, but you didn't give us property on that paint, by the way. And my other person I would say for L is Roger Goodell. You didn't even think to read over that script that they gave you before you said it, and it didn't sound like it was genuine.
No.
So you just allowed someone to write for you, and then you read off the teleprompter looking like this. No. So to me, those two as well, but of those three, Drew Brees because of the appeal that he has, and I actually hope he doesn't go to the Super Bowl again.
No, he won't. Trust me.
He won't.
Nah.
Now Jameis can.
Yeah.
Remember what I said?
Two things that's undefeated in this world: karma and Father Time. Karma is coming for Drew Brees.
And Father Time.
Same damn time.
They're gonna jump him.
And Father, come on now, bro. And Father Time. I just said that.
He pissed off his teammates. It's over with. All right. Hey, Savage, which one you pick? Mike Norvell as your three?
I pick Grant Napear. I mean, all of them to me. I mean, it don't matter.
Yeah.
It don't really matter.
Either or.
Yeah, y'all right. Y'all definitely right on the Drew Brees, but I just wanted to go with Norvell just because to be different, you know.
Yeah. He had lost a job.
Yeah. I mean, it may be on his way though. You never know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, go back to Drew Brees though. I don't trust any. Well, his apology. Normally, I accept apologies. Hills is like you said, 2 days after you like.
Nah.
Yeah.
Still trying the going against Donald Trump on that post. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's why we got the Walker Flocka, okay?
the Drew Brees white privilege is more dangerous than Trump white privilege because that's that sneaky. It's like carbon monoxide where you don't see it killing you, but it kills you.
They'll be the same ones in black communities, maybe giving out food or whatever. But
play both sides of it. Can't do that.
Both sides of the fence.
Like now, Michael Thomas may forgave him, but he got Malcolm Jenkins on that team now.
Oh yeah.
Malcolm Jenkins, where you from?
Oh, Lord. Next topic.
Come on.
Oh, Lord.
There's been at least 5 representatives of Ohio State, by the way. At least 5.
State.
Might be.
It's crazy because the only person that cares is you.
Well, y'all been doing good, Shitty, too. Y'all been doing good, man. Week last week.
I felt that one.
Nah, he been bro. He been disrespectful with them messages.
You got time, man.
He been sending me. I appreciate the brotherhood that we have, but yeah, you come on now, bro.
Next up. Start to next up.
Memphis,
There we go.
Down in
Bring
Memphis.
it in.
All right. Tiger news. Mike Miller stepped down as assistant coach of the Tigers to spend more time with family. Do y'all believe it?
No.
No.
I mean, technically, yes. Wherever Mason go, that's where Mike going.
I think he has an assistant coach at an NBA job waiting on somewhere. He just has to come out.
I think that's one of the most. I just think that's a crazy reason to put out. I think of all the times we've been spending time with our family, it's been the quarantine.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get away from my family. I love my family, but I'm trying to get away just a little bit. I think at the time in which you step down and trying to spend more time with your family. Come on, G. So, you ain't got a lot of need. So
Can I ask something to y'all? What does this mean about Penny Hardaway? I just want to hear y'all opinion about that.
I think
his seat getting a little bit warm, just a little bit. Because I think you mentioned it before, Savage. Now at this point, Penny's gonna have to coach.
Yep.
And I think for these seasons going forward, we're gonna see what Penny Hardaway is made of in terms of coaching, as opposed to recruiting, which we all know that he can do. But I think
I think this actually helps Penny keep his job because you don't have to worry about. I mean, Penny can recruit. I mean, it's Penny Hardaway. Yeah. But I think now the focus is going to have to be on the fine tuning of his coaching. And I said it before, but Penny need an old head on his staff again. He needs to have somebody that can somebody that's just cool being assistant coach for long term, not like how Larry Brown would have been, or what's the other guy's name, the black guy? Mitchell, yeah, somebody that's going to actually be there and kind of stay there until he decides to retire or something, the old guy. But yeah, I just think Penny, this is now his opportunity to focus more on the coaching than on the recruiting. Like before we mentioned in previous podcasts, he's not getting those. Well, anybody not getting the 5-star recruits anymore because they're going pro or they're going to overseas or whatever. So now, really, I hope now that he's been quarantined, that he's actually focusing on film and looking at what they did well this season, what didn't do well. They already got defense. They were number 1 ranked defense in the country. Now it's about the offense. You need to focus on who is your primary here. And he brought some wing players in. Probably shout out to Mike Miller. But now it's time to focus on your offense. I'm Memphis, we might care about recruiting to a certain extent, but if you ain't winning, you ain't winning. I mean, Josh Patterson's prime example of that, where he brought in all these great players, but they weren't. I mean, they were winning, but they weren't winning like how Memphis is used to winning. So if you win, nobody cares who you recruit. It's all about, can you coach? Can you play? What are you looking like in March and not in the NIT? So I think this is better for Penny, but I think Mike going to coach up his son on an individual basis, so he have to worry about other folks' sons.
He need to. if we really being honest, he need to.
Aston, to be fair, when last time we saw him play, he was a sophomore, and it was against James Wise too.
Yep.
The kid was already 6'6". I don't care. He was the biggest kid on the court. What does, bro? I'm sorry. You get, bro. The kid calf muscle was bigger than 3 players' calf muscles put together. The kid was already 6'4", 6'6", and you're being a facilitator. Your dad is a legendary shooter, and you're being a facilitator. I'm sorry.
He was a sophomore back then. His game is grown since then.
Right. We need Aston. We need to go to the game this year. We'll see. We can be a better judge,
bro. I swear to you, if he don't give me a smooth 20 piece, because Brett didn't even try. That's what make me upset. He didn't even try. He just, I'm gonna get a ball up. My dad's a shooter. I'm not a shooter. That's all I saw. I'm not a shooter. He's a shooter. So to me, yeah, go develop your son. You got a nice shot. You got a nice game. Go give your son that nice game.
I think Mike Miller may try to get in a big 3.
No.
Right.
I think he loves chilling right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I think to answer Savage's question, what does it mean for Penny Hardaway? I didn't take anything from that necessarily, but I think to kind of address Savage's point a little bit, I think if you're going to give Mike Miller credit for anything, Mike Miller was tied to a lot of the big recruits that Penny got. So whether that be Boogie, Lester, Precious. So I think one thing I agree with Savage is he has to get somebody on his staff that's a veteran that's been through the trenches before, that has the X's and O's that's to help him. But I think he also needs to be able to find somebody to kind of help him with their recruiting too, because now that Mike Miller's not there, that's a solid piece that you're losing too. So I mean, Savage, you brought up a name on Twitter a couple of days ago when this came out about who can replace him. So I think he definitely needs to find somebody that has experience, but try to see if you can get somebody that's going to be able to get in the trenches with you and go out and recruit too. Because Mike Miller
and Trey knows a lot of these young players. Like he's coached some at IMG. He has the youthful energy. Like he's 27, 28 years old. Like he can go out. I mean, he don't mind earning his check to go get players. I think he's a basketball nerd. Like he likes the coaching aspect. He likes the recruiting aspect. He's cool with a lot of the players. So I think that would be his best bet. And he got endorsement from John Morant too. So that should be enough for the Tigers to just go out and pick him up. And this will be good for him because I do think that he will be a head coach somewhere at some point. So I think that would be a good option is for Memphis to get Draper to be an assistant coach to replace Mike Miller.
I think, and you spot on with that one, Sharky. I definitely know Trey Draper, and shout out to him. He's done a hell of a job with his coaching career, man. And just to see his grind from being from Memphis has been outstanding. So salute to him. But that was also a name that I saw that a former Tiger player that's been winning, high school championships, and that's Antonio Anderson. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you think about it, he was a lot of people's favorite, throughout this era as well. Underrated, quiet, but he knew how to win. And I think that I respect what y'all saying about, getting an older coach, but y'all got to think the game changing in such a way that old coach methods going to have to be thrown out the window anyway. So you might as well get somebody that can come in and help progress, the Tiger culture that we have, and also, help Penny get better in what he's seeing with the young fool in the game too, because I think the young is taking over the game more than the old traditional game is still in the league. You know what I'm saying? Y'all kind of get what I'm saying? That?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think even though that it's ironic, I know Penny, when he first got the job, he was trying to get Larry Brown in there. To try to cover both bases, because Larry Brown, even though as old as he is, he was still doing a good job recruiting. Despite the tactics that, was a lot of the reason why folks were scared of him getting the job in the first place. But all that being said, I always felt like Penny needed a X and O's older guy, and I think Sam Mitchell was outstanding.
Yeah.
For what he brought, the NBA experience, player and coach, and then he also is connected with the basketball scene as well, the AAU scene and stuff like that, with being involved at that level. So that was the perfect blend. But then he had to go. I don't know, man, because people realize, I'm sure y'all know, Mike Miller, from everything I've heard, was the main recruiter, outside of Penny on the staff. That was his job. People credit him with Lester Quiones, Precious Achua, guys like that. That's major. Hits that are accredited to Mike Miller. So that's going to be a pretty big loss. And I'm curious, you can't just get a guy, because I've heard some local rumors, about, people that are local to the area that may be, and I'm not just talking about Trey, because I think Trey transcends the local, what he's doing at IMG and his connections outside of Memphis, but, some of the things, I don't think you just need to get somebody that's just known Memphis wise. I think you need to get, I'm not saying a star coach, but somebody that checks all the boxes of being involved in the AAU scene to a degree to be educated about it, but yet also have enough X's and O's knowledge to help Penny and respect it. You can't have a guy that they're not going to listen to. Mike Miller, multiple NBA finals, one of the best three-point shooters in NBA history, played with LeBron James, played in Memphis. I mean, he had a lot of stuff going for him that players are going to respect him. I mean, I saw a video this morning of him just whooping Kevin Davenport one-on-one.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just making him look stupid.
I saw that. That's why I asked about the big three. Like I said.
Honestly, I think he could. But I don't know, man. I hope because I think this is a big hire for Penny. Penny is at that stage now where, just like all y'all talked about, man, it ain't hot, because he's still bringing in too much money. But I think it's starting to warm up a little bit. The microwave got turned on. And
the hot water just got turned on, basically.
Yeah, the hot water. You know what I'm saying? And I think you got to make the tournament.
Gotcha.
Get all these players and not even win your conference. It's just you can't do it. I understand. Last year he's had some of the craziest circumstances happen to him over the past couple of years with Wiseman, injuries, everything else. So, it's on the balance. I don't want to say it's an excuse, but it's a lot of stuff happening. So this coming year, he needs to show, okay, we can make the NCAA tournament. Because even despite everything else, I think they're good enough to make the NCAA tournament. I think they could do that right now. That's just me.
Yeah. I've heard what you said. I heard what everyone said. Mike Miller was the #1 recruiter. We all agree about that. And I think what we also agree about is the G League is going to start taking those 4 or 5-star recruits as well.
True.
And so I actually believe that Penny doesn't need a better recruiter. He actually needs someone, to y'all's point, that knows the X's and O's of basketball. Almost how Doug Collins got Phil Jackson, right? Phil Jackson had had the triangle offense develop, but Collins didn't want to run. I think Savage, you brought up that point.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the last dance. So he really needs someone. Penny knows how to run point guard wise. Clearly, we see that. But I think someone that can help him and further develop what it looks like on a college basis and, like I said, X's and O's, offense, defense, stuff like that. I don't really think he needs someone else to recruit because, one, we still don't know what's going on with Memphis about this year coming up. Two, like I said, and we all agree about these 5-star players, I'm going to go to the G League and make – it don't even matter, 100,000, 200,000, and then go into the league. So you're going to get a lot of 3-star and some 4-stars, I would say, recruits. And you're going to get those regardless because his name is Penny Hardaway, right? So he's going to draw that interest. So I just think he needs a better – I think Sam Mitchell was a great one, which could be. But as long as someone that's coming in with the X's and O's for him, he doesn't need to recruit anymore.
That's a good point. And to your point, I mean, I guess what you're saying is coaching is becoming more important. It's going to become more important to the future of college basketball than just establishing a AAU All-Star team, like many teams have been doing lately. So.
And coaching has always been important in college basketball because, I mean, you look no further than who's won the previous national championships. I mean, it's either going to be Jay Wright, it's going to be Coach K, it's going to be Izzo, it's going to be who else? Calipari 1 year. Like, it's always going to come down to coaching.
That Cal 1 out of 5 every 5
years.
Exactly.
But I mean, but like the main thing is that coaching is, I mean, recruiting is a part of it, but coaching at the end of the day with college, you got to have the players, but you got to put them in a position to actually be successful, and that is the coaching part about it. So,
yeah, it always proves itself in the tournament.
Yeah,
when if you get a lot of talent in the regular season, you can make it to the tournament, but then you're going to run into some of those lower teams that may not have the talent, but they're much better coached, and that's where the rubber meets the road.
Right.
I like to add, I know he was done talking about his son, but his son's 6'9". I just want
is not letting it go.
I'm not. That man he said in the interview, like, I guess last year he did good in the AAU or whatever, but we'll see this year. He's 6'9". He said his dad's more of a shooter than he is, and he's working on driving to the basket. So, Sharky, make sure we make it to multiple games this year.
Yep. You still at Houston? He's in high school?
He's still at Houston. He's a 4-star recruit with TCU and some other people looking at him.
Okay.
So I don't think we got to see the Lausanne kid this year, nor the Briarcrest kid. So let's make sure we see.
They gonna
Kennedy leaving.
Yeah, that's what I say. We missed that chance.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't get to see him, so let's make sure we see at least Mason.
Yeah. All right. So next up, NBA. NBA return plan. Sure y'all have heard it. 8 games. Within 4 games, you get a play-in series where the 9th place team got to win 2 and the 8th place team only has to win 1. It's still dumb to me because if 4 games up on somebody,
why?
Winning 2 games, not just making up 2 games. But it is what it is. Brees is fully healthy. How y'all feel? Oh, July 31st. Man, let me go back to details.
Y'all ready for some pickup games? Y'all ready for them Mount Moriah pickup games y'all finna see?
Yeah. What we watching?
Honestly, I am.
What we watching?
Because honestly, that's what you finna see from the first couple games, bro. It's finna be pickup games like it ain't that.
It's better than what we've been getting.
Hey, cool.
All I've been getting is 2K.
Exactly. Right. So to know that we finally have a set date for the NBA to return. So I'm glad for that. I'm glad there's some form of answer as far as like what the season will look like when it gets back. I think it's a little confusing, like if a team is 2.5 games back after the 8 games are up and all that. Just again, we've said this for weeks. It just bothers me that they're going to try to do everything that they can to make sure that the Grizzlies don't make the playoffs. It's really frustrating, but at the end of the day, I hope the Grizzlies do whatever they can to make sure that they're in. I hope they take
they will.
And I'm pretty sure they will.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, I want this Lakers and Grizzlies playoff series. I'm ready for it.
It's
I think that, like, in reference to the Grizzlies, because that's really what all of us care about, and probably most of our listeners anyway. One thing first. First, I hate that because I had plans to go to a Lakers and Grizzlies playoff series. Like, I had plans to go. I was excited. You know, both the teams that I like playing against each other, great players. Like, but the pandemic just kind of shut that down, so that's kind of sad on our part. But besides that, like I said last podcast, John Morant got ears to Twitter. Like, he got ears to the media. Like, this dude is different. Like, he's young. He's not Mike Conley. Mike Conley cool, but John Morant he got something in him that takes what somebody else says and uses as motivation. Look no further than earlier in the season with Nunn from Miami talking about he was rookie of the year. John Morant said, "You got to take this from me," and nobody talk about Nunn anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to see Memphis play Portland in the Disney complex. I would love to see it with nobody in there. That might be better for John Morant, to be honest.
Oh yeah,
you can hear him talking to Dame Lillard. You know, so I'm for it. I don't care what they do, just as long as there's basketball on July 31st.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's the greatest day ever, man. And Savage, you were spot on, man. This, you know how to say it, Lito. but no, this is the perfect time for Ja Morant to add to his rookie season. That's been great. You know what I'm saying? I got full faith in them. I think they are gonna get the Pelicans out of there. I hope they do get a chance to play Portland and Dame plays, so it can be no excuse. Yep. Like, Ja Morant, this is rookie of the year season, and he deserves an A spot, and he knows it. So you get a full healthy Grizz team. Let's go.
No
exactly.
Doubt. No doubt. And, you know, I hope, you know, they play and beat Dame multiple times, just for the fact of him, you know, talking about not wanting to go down there if they don't have a chance. I guarantee you, too, you know, I know with the Zion thing, but I think they might have done this for him, too. So he can play some games.
May have.
Yeah.
May have. It's tilting in his favor.
Hey, come on. They care about Zion. That's what it is.
I know they care about Zion, but
the NBA's been there before. LeBron didn't make the playoffs his rookie season either. Been there, done that. Let's move on. Let's give it. Come on now.
It's crazy. And then all the stuff with Zion, too. They still losing. All these games they done lost before the season ended, despite the fact that they're more exciting. You know, he still hadn't really helped them win that much as they're acting like he has.
Exactly.
You know, he's not making the effect that John Morant has. But all that stuff being said, I'm just glad to get some games. I'm not even that concerned about all these rules. They sound confusing, whatever. Just let me get the games.
Exactly.
Watch.
Just win.
Win.
No 2K crowd. Just let them.
I hate that.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
That would be so stupid. And that 2K crowds don't react.
Exactly.
At the right time.
Exactly.
They'll be cheering and somebody hit a game-winning shot and don't say nothing. Everybody just sit there.
That's so true.
Awkward.
Wow.
Hey, come on.
Oh man, y'all funny.
So as I was waiting for you to talk about the Wizards.
They got a shot.
Yeah, they got a chance.
He was in the 4
with
games.
Brad Beal, not John Wall. With Brad Beal.
Hey man.
Oh no, I want to hear from the Wizards fan. I don't want to hear from you two.
John Wall might be.
Bye.
John Wall say he's 100% though.
110.
110%.
Here we go.
We say that on All the Smoke.
Oh boy.
We listening.
Anyway, when I saw that list and I saw that they were in it, I knew y'all was gonna have something to say. Honestly, I'm not expecting much. Like I said, the first couple of games going to be pickup games anyway, and Bradley's going to have to get used to John being back after being the main man for X amount of months.
He's still the main man.
Right, thank you.
Brad Beal.
The main man that shoots 30 shots a game and maybe hit 12. All right.
Back-to-back 50 points.
Look at the percentages, Savage.
Gotcha.
But it's gonna I'm happy for it, but at the same time, they probably got in by the skin of their teeth. because the record was pretty bad before the season ended anyway. Just for the simple fact, I mean, it's the roster is not there, but it's really going to depend on who they meet first round, honestly, and really see how
They
it
gotta
goes.
beat the Magic.
What they say?
They gotta beat the Magic.
45% from the field, 30 points a game. Excuse me, sir.
He's
Apologize.
the only one
Bradley Beal.
shooting.
Efficiency.
He's the only one shooting.
That's pretty
50%,
efficient.
30 points.
45%.
No.
With some
efficient.
bombs.
I'm done.
That's
Now. Go ahead,
efficient,
ask.
dog.
I'm done.
But no, definitely, it's definitely going to be whoever they meet first round. Because I mean, like I said, if John's back in the starting lineup off a real, the chemistry is not going to be there. They haven't played together all year, and like I said, it's a pickup game. So I'm not going to boast about it because honestly, I don't know what to expect. You know, of course, I'm a ride for my guys, but I really don't know what to expect.
Who are those guys? I think it's only like 2 players on the Wizards anyway.
And they're rookies.
That's worth noting. That's worth noting. You're right. Because everybody else don't matter. You know, we gave
John Wall is one of those that don't matter.
we gave that defensive player of the year to
Yeah,
Chicago Bulls.
yeah.
You know,
I'm done.
So one, I don't think the Wizards can beat the Magic twice. That's the end of that.
oh,
They gotta beat the Magic twice.
Got to make up game in hell.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's you can go and cross that out. The one thing I don't like about the format is if they have to go back to, and they did say this already, playing back-to-back games. Because in conditioning wise, you know, NBA players are not used to like going that hard and have to play again the next day after such a long time off. So only thing I would like is just an extra day in between those 2 days off. I know they talked about the finals at least having a day in between the finals. And they also alluded to moving, like if 2 teams get swept, like the number 1 plays the number 4 immediately, there's no lag in time. Because as Trevor's point was last week, we wasted enough time without basketball. But I also want to make sure that health is still there for our players too. And I don't think back-to-back nights there right now, it would be really off of just adrenaline that they would be doing that and not really their health long term.
hey yo, that we may be tired the next day. Hey, bro, we had to play games at 9 and be ready again at 2. I don't want to hear nothing, and we be going balls to the wall, bro. we out there running balls to the wall. I don't care if we had to play 3 games in the same day. We can handle the next day. I don't want to hear it.
Stupid.
Like Ron get pulled because they're 32.
Right.
They help
I'm about to say these 30-years.
Yeah.
It is what
It's all
it
there,
is, bro.
you.
You know what? We used to go out there and roll our ankles. Ain't no point. And I don't want to hear it.
What was that?
All right. Next up, due to time, do y'all want to do top 3 overrated players of all time or trolling off?
Top 3.
Top 3 overrated.
Top 3 overrated.
Can't wait to hear from Aston.
All right, Aston, you go first.
I'm like all the man today.
I'm gonna let y'all know John Wall is not on that list, sir. Maybe on. I
He
know.
might not be on your
I already know it's on y'all list anyway. But my top 3 overrated. The first one probably shock y'all, and it's because literally he went from being one of the top players in the league, top point guards. Promise you, give buckets, and then just fell off completely and stopped giving his team a run. And that'd be Darren Williams.
Okay.
Boy.
That's it. Okay.
Okay. Hell, a boy back in the day.
Boy, back in the day.
I mean, he was back in the day. He gave buckets, bro. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened to his game. It was just like the Space Jam monsters came and took that junk. He went from being above average to just average. Second one would be UN Marcus, boy. You know, Dwight Howard.
I disagree with that, but go ahead.
I disagree with that too.
What? Disagree with what? Yeah, his
He's
boy
not
or overrated?
He's not
Overrated.
Overrated. Brett, first of all,
His opinion. Let him talk.
Yeah,
first of all, when has he led anybody to a championship besides leading Orlando back in 09 to play Kobe? Really? Come on now. Anyway,
Okay.
but
There's other players that ain't been to the championship.
that one time he led them to the finals. You caused coaching problems. Second one, Van Gundy, and then you haven't been able to stay on the team. You've been on 5 5 teams in the last 7 seasons. Like I said, you went number 1. You didn't make a huge change. Like, yeah, he was nice at the time, but his game got altered out, just as Shaq's did. And my third one, Jesus. Paul Pierce.
Hey, wait. Well, you know what? We can have some people in the same list. We can get
He on mine too. So.
Hold on. Y'all gonna disrespect Game of Zones like that? Come on, man.
Pierce go without saying. You ain't even explain, so let's go without saying.
I'm sorry. Bruce said I'm better than Kobe off rip, boy. You made the play. You didn't make a playoffs until you had a big 3.
So can I contest Dwight Howard?
Go ahead.
I mean, 5-time All NBA first team, 1-time second team, 2-time third team, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 4-time All Defensive first team, 1-time second team, 5-time rebounding champion, 2-time blocks leader. That ain't overrated, bro. Like, if anything,
was that all before 2010?
Nah, it was like 2012, but that was past his prime though, and he got hurt too. So,
bro, he made Jameer Nelson an all-star. I ain't trying to hear nothing.
I forgot about that.
You can't overrate somebody like that.
How you gonna do Jameer Nelson like that, bro? First of all,
because he was just a DJ Augustine, maybe a little better.
About the St. John's great.
Come on,
St. John's great. Him and Delonte.
Him and Delonte. Wow. The homeless man.
Yeah, I mean, Dwight Howard, I feel like we forget just how dominant he was for like that period of time in his prime before he got hurt.
For them 5 years. Yes.
That's a good prime for a big man, I think.
Yeah.
Especially because you still got to go into the years of going into your prime. In beginning years, he wasn't that bad.
Can we pause? Hold on. We got about at least 20 more players to go through. So here we go. Trevor, Josh, Took, Savage. Come on.
Go ahead.
You're right.
Trevor or Josh, don't matter.
Go ahead, Took.
Me? Okay. First is Rashard Lewis.
Hey, wait a minute. You're not gonna disrespect the ball spot.
I don't care what he got in his head. Rashard Lewis, y'all remember at one point in time he was the highest paid player in the league.
He was.
He signed a 6-year, $118 million. And Orlando Magic, salute to them. That's what, 20 million a year, something like that. He only had one All-Star game in 9 seasons. One. He only averaged 20 points a game before he got to Orlando. After that, doom, down. And he was the highest paid player of the league. So that's an overrated. Like, come on now.
Last I heard from him, there was rumors about him and LeBron Mama or something like that. I think
you need Delonte West.
To be honest, bro, he played in forces every game. Do we expect any less right now? And played in forces every game.
Not Rashard Lewis. That's Rasheed Wallace.
My bad.
See, y'all.
Even then, no.
That's crazy. The fact that y'all don't even remember who I'm talking about, and he had his contract.
Rasheed and Rashard, same thing.
But I think in his case, it's more so of him adjusting to how times were changing, because he went from being this guy averaging 20 in Seattle to being a spot-up shooter. So, but hey, your list, keep going.
Hey, overrated. Only one All-Star game. Second list is Vincent J. Anthony Mayo. Otherwise, it's OJ Mayo.
Why did you just say his whole? Why did you do that?
Because some people don't even know what OJ meant. So you're welcome. Let's be real.
Goodness.
But no, coming into the league, he had so much high expectations. He was supposed to be the next Jordan by a lot of magazines, a lot of different people. Only averaged, 19 and a half points a game, and that was his rookie season. Other than that, he never averaged those numbers again. So for a guy that was supposed to be the next Jordan, his best season was his rookie season. Kind of overrate that.
I mean, if we add, his little brother was overrated when we was in school too, but keep that rolling.
Cool. And then a little fact behind him, he add him onto the list of the players that talk trash, to Michael Jordan and regretted it. So, put their name on the list. And last but not least, y'all already know who I had to go with, Pim Parsons. Do I need to say more?
Nope.
I thought this was the most overrated, not who pimped the most out the league. I ain't think this was.
Hey man, yeah, I ain't got to say. Go look up their contract numbers. That's all I got to say. Overrated and white privilege in the league.
All right, Josh.
All right, well, man, I've been thinking long and hard. First on my list, I got to put John Wall first on the list.
Go for it.
I'm talking about.
It's not even us anymore.
And I've been had this. I ain't gonna lie. But man, John Wall, potential out the frame, athletic, quickness, speed, good pass, all that stuff, man. Size, but could never learn how to shoot. It just didn't care. Didn't care. Just jacking up, just terrible. And everybody's, for a while, it's okay. We can stand 10 feet away and we ain't got to worry about it. So, John Wall, definitely.
And that sound like Ben Simmons. They sound like they sound like somebody's favorite player in here. But keep going.
Hey, he might be on that too. But yeah. And John Wall, I think he thinks he's better than what he is too. So all that combined. Also, Draymond Green for me. A guy
Disrespectful.
that everybody always says he is the reason they win championships. He's the cog. Man, look, whatever.
I'm gonna come on your show. I'm gonna come on your show with this one.
All right, yeah, hey. But look, and what got me was, I don't mean I shouldn't go off interviews what they say about themselves. When I saw Draymond on All the Smoke, he went in on KD and all that. That's another thing. I agree with all that stuff. But his self-value of himself as an all-time difference maker is way, way overrated. Just is what it is. You look at his career numbers, not all that they're made out to be for what he's considers himself. And some people consider him in his place in history on that team. He's a role player. The rest of those guys make him look better, not the other way around. That's my opinion.
He said he the glue, man. He the glue.
Yeah, he the Elmer's.
Hey, whatever washable glue,
Yeah, he ain't super glue. He's that kindergarten glue you put on your hands and peel off. That's that shit glue.
Not the rub together, Skylar. Not the rub together.
But third, man, I've been thinking long and hard on this one, even up to when we got on, to be honest with you. But, gosh, who I want is third?
John Wall, it's okay.
If I can put him again, I was thinking about it.
John Wall again. It's a safe answer.
But honestly, Ben Simmons is a guy that everybody, you want to talk about the next LeBron James that everybody wants to say. Coming out of college, could be dominant. I mean, he still puts up good numbers despite the fact he cannot shoot. I think he hit 1 3 this year.
Yeah.
Oh no! Hold on. Let's get our fact checker. Marcus, you keep up with that? Was it 1, 2? What was it? Just 1 or 2?
Go ahead, Josh. Josh.
I think it was 1 for his career. My bad. I said for the year. I think it's his career. 1 3-pointer. A guy that has not accepted his role as a leader on that team whatsoever. I think he's going to be a career second or third guy on a team that never lives through his potential, to be honest with you. That's what I think. He's not going to be him and Embiid forever. And I think Embiid is great. I think Ben Simmons kind of brings him down, to be honest with you, what they could be. So I put Ben Simmons third.
Some real talk about Ben Simmons, finally.
Let me stop. Okay, anywho, my 3 overrated players, and I'm going to go through these really quickly. I'm just going to give you names. Paul Pierce, of course, number 1. He's been overrated for years. 2 on my list is actually Stephon Marbury.
Hey, man, he the only person that got $15 shoes. What you doing?
And a statue in China.
That was not good. He broke up every team that he was on. And 3 is, I mean, you want to talk about overrated players. Andrew Wiggins is on that list.
Yes.
Highly on the list. Highly on the list.
They got to be on Sharky list too.
Eventually. Sorry. That's why I wasn't going to get mine out the way. Here you go.
Scratch off another name.
Then like she like, man, y'all taking everybody. God,
That's why I want to go last.
I'll go. Since you want to go last. I'll keep mine sweet. One obviously was Andrew Wiggins. Another guy who was declared the next LeBron. We all know what's transpired, so I'll keep it short and sweet. Second on my list is actually Josh Smith.
Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah. I just think that his athleticism, don't get me wrong, he was crazy athletic, just overshadowed his overall talent because despite him posting like decent numbers, like he was a terrible three-point shooter, obviously. He shot terrible from the line, and he averaged 2.5 turnovers a game. So, and now, regardless of that, he did go out the best way anybody wanted to go out if he wanted to go out of the league. So just go look at that Game 5 against the Clippers when he was on the Rockets. And lastly, and just obviously because of how much money he was able to take from the league, I got to go with my alien brother and put Pimp Parsons on there.
Pimp Parsons. Biggest pimp in the city once upon a time. Let me tell you about him.
Pimp in the South now.
Right.
Pimping all over the world. All right, I'll go.
I'm done.
I'll go. It's already been mentioned, but Paul Pierce, number one. One, because of what he's been spewing for the past, ever since he retired, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me, Paul Pierce is Joe Johnson with a ring. So I mean,
I'm honestly surprised he's not on nobody else's list. I'm honestly surprised.
Joe Johnson. He's not on my list, but I mean, it's like I said, it's the same thing. But that's why I said he's Joe Johnson with a ring. Like,
that's funny.
I honestly think if you swap those two, you probably get the same result. Like
basically,
y'all gonna disrespect the truth like that?
Man, I'm a Pierce fan. I'm a huge, and not off after basketball. You're stupid, but during basketball, I was a big Pierce fan. Man.
Yeah,
bless you.
I can't even lie.
So yeah, that's number one, Paul Pierce. Number two actually is Russell Westbrook. I feel like he got a lot of empty calories every game. He has no positive impact on the game at all. He just goes out there and plays like a my career game all the time, getting all the rebounds, all the assists, all the points, and all the turnovers.
He got to get his badge in some way.
Yeah, he plays like a 5-year-old playing on Pro 2K for 12-minute quarters. This is what he does.
But he has better career playoff numbers than your boy Dame Leonard. Continue.
I mean, I don't really care. I don't really care.
Get him, Trev.
I don't really care.
I'm mad. Trevor just had that locked and loaded. You came out the rest.
I mean, I don't really care. I mean,
hey, Dame dropped him off though.
Right. I mean,
that's also facts too. But
that is facts. Game recognized game, but yeah.
But like Westbrook, like he will never ever make an NBA final. Ever. It will not happen. Just with
again.
How he
again.
Put again.
Yeah, put again. Because
okay, I'm sorry. Again.
Put again. Yeah.
They won one game.
See this. Miami Heat. But yeah, like I just feel like he if he does not change his game soon, he's one injury away from being like not able to be on a team. You know what I'm saying? Like if he has a bad knee injury, he can't shoot, you know. He can play defense, I guess, but he really can't evolve with how the NBA is because that athleticism is going to be gone at some point. He's like 30, 31 now. I give about a year or two for something happen, him trying to go ham and go to the goal and dunk, and he'd be messed up. Last but not least, I know Took can be mad at me, but I say Iguodala. Primarily because they saying Hall of Famer Andre Iguodala.
Yes.
If Andre Iguodala makes a Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame is illegitimate. I would never. I don't care who makes it in afterwards. I just nope. No. Because if he made the Hall of Fame, Then Robert Orr better make the Hall of Fame. Steve Kerr better make the Hall of Fame. All these other role players with rings better make the Hall of Fame.
I mean, but the standard for the Hall of Fame is not to be lowered anyway, so that's probably not far-fetched.
Yeah, because in my opinion, and I know you said this last week, Trevor, I don't think Mitch Richmond should get in the Hall of Fame. In my opinion, a lot of scoring, but wasn't impressive to me.
Yeah.
In the age of championship matters, and Iggy got 4 of them, 4 of them, and a Finals MVP.
No.
All right, bet.
I don't even
A couple All-Star selection bet. We gonna remember this. He ain't gonna be first ballot, or first, but he'll be second.
I just like to add one quick fact. I feel like Westbrook will be the next Carmelo if he gets that injury. He's gonna be. He's a team killer. I hate to say that about Melo, but he's gonna be a team killer, and he's gonna struggle to stay in the league.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook's a team killer.
Yes.
He's only been on one his whole career.
Man, man.
Okay.
So we gotta go last, boy. All y'all's now.
Right.
That's all I know. God. What gonna be talking about?
Right. He's defending a player. He's defending an NBA player that has no jumper. Come on, Steve.
Hey, at the end of the day, was it spotting up or on the move? Which one?
Go ahead,
You control the knob, bro.
Go ahead, Steve.
Control the knob. If Josh, you don't know, that's a John Wall reference. John Wall plays.
Oh.
Go ahead, Steve.
I'm gonna let Captain go first.
Okay, go ahead, Sharp.
All right, man. Joe Johnson, make the list. Sorry, bunch of stats. Couldn't never lead the team nowhere. No.
What about the big 3 numbers? That big 3 championship he got.
So, yeah, after him, I know Aston referred to him now. What's called referred to him? Savage used to like him. I don't even like him anymore after Jimmy Butler stuff that happened in Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm off of it.
Aston used to always refer to him as Little Kit Kat.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, Minnesota ain't been none. He's been the best player. The one year they went somewhere was who? Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
No.
All right. This was my favorite player. It's hard for me to put him on this list. Tuke and Trevor. I know y'all finna hear y'all mouths. And he was my favorite player too. And y'all know what name I'm about to say. Tracy McGrady.
Disrespectful.
I don't disagree.
You disrespectful human being.
I don't disagree.
How dare you?
Drop the location then.
What?
Let's go.
Had to cut my camera off.
He right there.
He running in the street.
Dang. Wi-Fi.
I don't
Go
disagree.
outside.
I really don't disagree.
Trevor had to go outside. And the fact that you got somebody that agrees with you don't make it even better.
Who agreed? You?
I don't disagree with you,
Savage.
Sharky. I agree. I agree with you.
You got my reason.
Oh boy.
He's my favorite player. Bro never made out the first round.
Yeah.
Because who we play with.
Because of who we played with.
Yeah.
Two.
He
1
had
year.
no help.
No, 2.
Pat
Besides
Garrett.
when he got to the
Two.
Rockets.
Let me go. They played Dallas 1 year. Dallas had home court advantage. They won the first 2 games in Dallas.
Yeah, it wasn't a home
Next
court
2 games
advantage.
at home. Nah, bro. That's the year he's supposed to get out any year. Nah. Like I said, he was my favorite player.
I mean, Dallas got a culture of just messing up teams when they were supposed to anyway, so whatever.
I got a problem with winning the Hall of Fame, making him a first ballot Hall of Famer. In my opinion.
Hey.
He was not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
When you think of people like Kobe Bryant saying that Tracy McGrady was the hardest player he had to defend, I don't care what your stats look like.
When your eyes go opposite ways, it's hard to know.
You can see the basket, but it don't matter. You can see 2 things at one time. Overrated. Y'all tripping. This man gave 13 points in 35 seconds to win a game.
My favorite player. So
you tripping.
You can't
ain't your favorite player.
He's a bad man, bro.
You know who you feel like to me, bro? Who you seem like to me is Drew Brees. You showing your true colors right now. Nobody in this podcast. You are not a fan of Tracy McGrady. I don't care what nobody says.
Round 2, so.
Oh boy.
Speaking of first rounds, my first one, I'll try to make this because I did some research. I wanted to really look at Savage. I had to really dig. I wanted to dig on this one. My first one.
Oh,
just
damn.
me out. Ralph Sampson.
Okay.
Ralph Sampson was.
We're going back. Okay.
You going back? Okay.
3 times in a row the player of the year. After you got drafted by the Rockets in '83, first pick, who they pick up the next year? Y'all remember? Hakeem. But it didn't work out.
Yep.
They sent him away. He never averaged double digits again. But he was supposed to be the second coming of, Jabbar and Will Chamberlain, right?
Yeah.
So my second person is the second overall pick. His name, ladies and gentlemen, is Marvin Williams.
I forgot about him.
How did you?
He overrated to be underrated.
He was the second pick in the draft.
He didn't even start in college.
All right.
Now I'm supposed to game in college.
He made $110 million in his career. Has the same amount of All-Star games as everyone on this podcast.
Not bad.
Hey man, I'm sure Ashton beat me at an all tournament.
Wait, hold on. 4 first-round exits. The other 2 were the second-round exits. He's 6'9" and averages 5 rebounds a game. Stop it, Marvin Williams. And let me get to the next one.
I'm so like,
let me sit back.
That's my camera. Let me adjust my camera.
table.
Let me adjust
Talking about white privilege. My third person, Stephen Nash.
Whoa.
Have never received his 2 MVPs.
The white goat.
No, just listen
The
to
white
what I'm about to give you. What did you talk about he should have got? Should have went to Kobe, right?
Of course.
So in the year that he gave that 05-06, Steve Nash was 18 and 11. 18 points, 11 assists. Not the best player on your team, by the way, but you were 18 and 11. I think we all agree Amara was better than him. I believe. Don't give me that face, Savage. Just wait. In that year, LeBron averaged 31, 7, and 7. In that year, Kobe averaged 35, 5, and 5.
Should have got it.
But we gave it to Steve Nash.
Best team in the West, though. They're the best team in the West.
That's the point. That's the problem. He's not the most valuable player. He's just the best player on the best team. Let's go back the year before that. Just real quick. Let's entertain. The year before that, 04-05, he was 15 and 11.
Damn. Is it?
I like these consistent
Y'all
11s.
know who was second in the that year? Anyone know who was second?
Shaq.
I'll give you Shaq.
Shaq had 22 and 10.
Yeah, Shaq. He saw that.
Dirk had 26 and 10. And I feel the snub here was actually AI.
Yeah.
AI was averaging 30 and 8. So are you telling me that if you switch Steve Nash and Allen Iverson, that 76ers team was playoff? No.
I agree.
No.
I didn't hear it.
So those are mine. So that's an honorable mention just in case you got time. And Stackhouse, you're one.
Stackhouse, yeah.
He's the heart of the team, guys.
James Harden. Hey, don't get me started on him.
And probably should have made there. Don't talk to me anymore about Bill Russell. Bill Russell has 11 rings with 8 teams in the league. He saw Jordan that Paxton wouldn't have made it or Steve Kerr wouldn't have made it. Bill, how many black people you pay against? So let's be real.
About 2?
Probably just one. Probably just Wilt.
Now, here we go. So 11 rings, you can have all those, but never be mentioned in the GOAT talk. Do we talk about Bill Russell? No.
So what I heard in the shadows after all that is AI's on that list on some real stuff because you slick through that man under the bus saying you swap him and Steve Nash out, there's no difference. So AI is slick on that list. What I was saying
was you swap Steve Nash to play for the 76ers that year.
I was a huge
switch AI over to the Suns. 1, the Suns are still in the playoffs. 2, the 76ers are not.
I agree. That's a good point.
Oh boy, y'all came with some hot takes.
Shitty goodness.
See, let's not be disrespectful to the great Stephen Nash, my favorite point guard of all time. Let's not be disrespectful to Stephen. Okay. I'll give you Shaq. That first one was Shaq, period. Was that Shaq first year in Miami? I believe it was. When he went crazy. Yeah, I get it.
05, 06?
Yeah, something like that.
4 or 5.
But Steve Nash, that's the orchestrator of the 7 seconds or less offense, man.
What I'm saying is he shouldn't have got those 2 MVPs.
I'll give you one.
First,
one on should have got.
I'll give you both of them.
And I think we all agree that the second one should have went to Kobe.
Yeah.
At 35, 5-5.
No question.
Hey, hold on. Didn't Phoenix beat us in the playoffs that year? We were up 3-1, something like that.
It's a regular season trophy, man.
Has nothing to do with the playoffs.
Trophy.
If it had to do with the playoffs, James Harden wouldn't have won no damn MVP.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that's true too.
Can we also
Steve
know?
Nash putting up Mike Conley numbers.
Can we also note that had the referees not cheated against the Suns, against the Spurs,
They would have had the ring.
they would have had that ring then, and we'd be having.
That was Amari giving those buckets.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Who was setting them up though?
Amari was giving.
Karl Malone needed John Stockton.
Bosa could
That's
give
not
him the
true.
ball.
That's not
Yeah,
true.
but Karl Malone got the
Bosa could give him the
MVPs.
Karl Malone overrated to me, but we ain't.
He on that list too, bro.
Hey, come from the Facebook comments, Dominic Lawson. You know, we all.
Yeah.
Dom, what up, Dom?
He threw.
What's up?
Throw Allen Houston on that overrated list.
True. Him too.
Oh, Allen Houston. Put all the Knicks on there.
Right. That
Like every single Nick or just
John
Nick.
Starks.
Josh, I would like to apologize for my teammates' behavior on today.
Absolutely.
Quite outlandish.
Absolutely.
This will not happen again.
I'm sure it will.
Do we have time for trouble now?
Nah, that's it.
Man, I got one. I got one.
You got one?
I'm sorry.
Trolling out,
This needs to be said. So I'm on Twitter the other day, earlier this week. Barstool Sports decides to put out a tweet that says, "What's the favorite fast food chain from your state?"
Oh, this was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Deserves to be on there.
And Long John Silver.
Ain't no been a Long John Silver.
Hush puppies?
No.
Hey, I've never had Long John Silver.
Roll on.
Never.
Favorite fast food chain is Long John Silver's.
Bootleg Captain D.
That's a show.
I think it's Dixie Queen, man. Honestly,
It's a troll.
Oh shit. Long John Silver. Hey,
Oh,
some things just need to be addressed at the table. Some things you can't just let it
Skylar,
fly. When you
I agree.
Scarlett, I respect you bringing that up.
Thank you.
Me too.
I respect you. Because
Hey,
Chick-fil-A,
It's like that.
it don't matter how long that line is that Chick-fil-A is on Poplar. It don't matter how long that line is that Chick-fil-A on Poplar. They gonna always get you in and out in 5 minutes.
5
That is a
minutes.
respectable zone,
Every
bro.
time.
They the best, bro. They the GOAT.
They think the Chick-fil-A on Winchester.
boy, you in that jump for 30 minutes, bro. It's over with.
Look, Skyler, we going down to Olive Branch for hour.
Hey, that's what I do. Go right across that state line, boy.
They're gonna treat you like you at Popeyes down there.
We hadn't talked food on this podcast in a minute, so I had to bring it up.
Good job, bro.
I'm still mad. I understand Long John Silver's ain't here, but I don't even remember when it was here.
It was downtown, I think.
Yeah,
It was one on
What, like towards mid?
Bill.
Yeah,
There was one inside the Peabody.
it was.
Yeah.
It was?
How is that a staple in the Peabody?
What?
Ew.
Right.
The line was never long.
Your food ain't good.
Exactly. There you go. Let's be real. If your food line is never long, that means your food ain't good.
Like art.
Exactly.
They line ain't never long now.
Yeah, but that food
That-
good.
that-
That's fine. That's an exception. I'm sorry. I had to bring it up.
All right, before we end, Josh, do you have a troll or not?
Honestly, I probably would have listened to Long John Silver thing. That pissed me off when I saw that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, what? And I've been there a few times. And they fish stink. You know what I'm saying? It's just disturbing. It's a bootleg Captain D's. I just
And that's not even good.
no, and they ain't even good. No.
Wow.
I'm gonna go to Catfish Cabin before I go down there.
Wow.
Wow.
You want a dish? You want a side of roach or no? What's up? Roach
Hey, little
puppies?
cup, you know what I mean? Little
I said
cup.
roast puppy. Stay satisfied.
Here you go. The Fantasy Sports Podcast
Right,
in the
all the
nation.
time.
That's what we
Fattest Sports Podcast in the nation, baby. That's what we are.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you, Josh, for coming on.
Appreciate y'all.
Hey, thank y'all, man. I'll do
Appreciate
it
it,
again.
Josh.
Hopefully we do this again, bro.
Oh, for
most
sure.
Definitely. How can we get on your show?
Hey, y'all just let me know. Get all y'all on, man. We can do the same thing. Talk about
Oh,
Long John Silver's the whole show. You know what I mean?
Man, that's
Episode
a
won't be long.
5-minute show. This is gonna be a 5-minute episode, bro.
All right, what can the people follow you on social media?
Follow on Twitter at Talkback Live. It's one word, Talkback Live. Also, Facebook, Talkback Live with Bob and Josh. Also, our other Facebook page, Talkback Live Network, which is the website where we have all our content, as well as some of the guys write articles on there sometimes as well, so y'all can check that out. As well as Dominic has done so in the past, about a year ago. But he's got some stuff up there. Ron Brooks wrote, I think, one last year as well. So we got some stuff up there, man. Y'all go check us out.
Nice. All right. Till next time, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.